Watch this. You may learn something.
In the show, as we travel from country to country in Europe, visiting old battlefields, talking to those people who are still alive, who still remember those fierce, ferocious battles. Check this out. This is insane what people do. You can't not love this.
If you're 18 years old today, I don't think you could possibly imagine the horror of what it must be like throughout Europe when the cities above were bombed, to hide down here.
You talk about remnants of World War II. You can see some of the very biggest ones here by the sea. In my search for cool things around the world, we have come to Aalborg in Denmark. People live in these buildings still. Absolutely beautiful old buildings that have been here for hundreds of years, cobblestone streets, and you know what? The plumbing still works better here than anywhere in LA. As all museums go, this is an amazing place because this museum actually was history. Back during World War II, the Germans built this as a seaplane hangar where they would conduct combat operations. And after the war, this became the home for over 40,000 German refugees, mostly from East Prussia. The current mission today for the guys here at the museum is to put this plane on that pedestal. Get it up so they can get more hardware in here on the floor for you guys to see. So when you visit the museum, when it reopens here in a couple of months, it's closed for winter. You can't tell, but it's actually really cold out here. The ambulance you see behind me was actually at the World Fair in Paris the same year the Eiffel Tower opened, and it won a gold medal. Karen Blixen's dad, his sword is lying here. Back in the 1800s, he took his life, but he wrote a few books. And from those books, we can determine that he had PTSD. Even back in the day, before it was ever accepted as a disease, as a problem, PTSD existed. So like I said, it's very plausible and expected that Vikings suffer from PTSD. Walk through the front gate of the original monastery. 1431. What was the Founding Fathers doing in 1431? Family-owned business that makes the best candy in the world. Is it candy or is it?
No, only
confection.
Only chocolate.
Only
Yes.
chocolate. So
Yes.
it's not really considered candy. It's confection.
Yes.
To most Americans who've never been out of America, I will wager you have never had a truly good pastry or truly good bread. You may think you have, but you really haven't. Let me show you why and explain my theory. This is the proportions you should have for a proper layer cake. This much cream and this much of the bottom and top. And then of course you coat it in chocolate and then you get this little thing. It's small, it's delicate, it's light, and it's fluffy, and I'm generally starving. I was wrong. First you coat it in marzipan because that's what we do. I'm pretty sure if you had dying people go to the hospital, you coat them in marzipan too and they'll be better. We've gone to the Viking Museum in Aalborg on Lindholm-Høje. Good morning. Today we're going to see children play with non-offensive toys. Children of all three genders. We'll be having a wonderful afternoon. Maybe have tea. No, we're not! We're gonna look at fucking bikes! Let's go! One thing I think most guys really need is a place to go and just be men. Without all the political correctness, without all the shopping and the malls.
Did I rob my first bank? Turned into a life of crime.
I know how important women's safety has always been to me and what I do. However, I am conflicted here because part of making women safe on a motorcycle is insisting they do not wear Daisy Dukes and a little top, which I'm very much in favor of. So I don't know. I don't know if I can agree, but I have to approve and say this is pretty cool.
This is, wait a second. This is abrasion resistant.
For those of us who's been married and happily divorced, we are also abrasive resistant. In our search for the things that are cool, I told you all that cool is not something you buy, no matter how much money you have. Cool is something you build, create a beautiful bike or restore a veteran's car. If you're going to build yourself cool, this is the place you have to go to. Let's go meet some of the cool people I know. These small mom and pop shops that just fabricates really cool things. We have a couple of guys that make custom guns for Hollywood. We have a couple of guys that make custom motorcycles. Now, I'm bringing you somewhere else. We went to the Pomona Veterans Car Swap Meet. With so much energy in America. After the war, we were building, and we came home. So many guys came home with ideas.
Right.
And that became the ideas. I want one of these. Just trying to figure out how to get the network to pay for it. But I want one. The thing about these cars are everybody's unique, everybody is different, everybody does something special. A little bit like the Harley way of life. You do your thing to your ride. Absolutely cool. They're DC custom cool.
Definitely.
And we talk about mostly Harleys and cool stuff.
Definitely. I'm a rider myself.
Yeah, you're limping, so
Yeah,
I'm thinking
motorcycle accident. Old lady ran into me.
I just talked about this, didn't I? Was she texting?
Oh no, just she looked right at me. Locked eyes to the mirror and ran me into the K-rail.
Was she Asian?
Yes.
Good, there you go. All right,
Yes.
now
Typical.
modern cars, what they're missing is all the details and the finesse that was put into making cars back in the day. It's just not the same anymore. The car was inspired by the time we started going into space. You gotta love these old cars, and you have to love the history that it reflects, because that is what American classic cars really is all about. They reflect a time that's gone by. It's time for some swap meet food. I don't know if any of you guys read the book. Gassers are from Mars, Harley riders are from Venus. I think that's what it was. But generally, we fuel our rides or cars with the same overpriced California gasoline, and we eat the same overpriced fair food.
When I bring my wife here next, right? I was really looking forward to taking her someplace expensive.
I eat cheaper Ruth Chris than here. My agent always wonders why I put on weight when I go to see my mom. This is why.
What are you eating?
The waitress got me the wrong order. I ordered salad. I turned the camera off. I'm looking at you. You, hybrid.
Yes. Sorry, I moved here from Berkeley. I shouldn't.
Now, and I'm sorry about what I said about attorneys. There are specific places where attorneys do belong, like the moon and the bottom of the sea. So besides the harassment,
Where
let's
can
talk
I
about.
go from there? I have no.
Let's go back to talking about the ice cream.
Oh.
And the giant breasts. What were we talking about?
giant breasts. I
How are
have
you
no
enjoying it?
idea.
You have giant what?
I clearly cannot compete with a giant breast with beer coming out of the tap. I cannot compete with it.
And I had 14 hours sleep. She had 5, so I'm having a complete disadvantage.
And not enough coffee.
Let's go find this woman some coffee.